At it again. And in light of Elon Musk with his now viral statement, GFY, go F yourself, right? There has been a conversation going on social media. And several of you sent me this podcast here from Michelle Tafoya. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. But this is from the Michelle Tafoya podcast, and she's got Michael Benz on the podcast with her, and they discussed something very, very interesting that I wanted to share with you guys because I think it really illustrates, well, it perfectly illustrates what is happening in our country today, and it really shows they're afraid. The establishment is really, really, really afraid. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. And once again, shout out to Michelle Tafoya. Okay, this is from the Michelle Tafoya podcast if you guys want to go check it out for yourself. All right. With that being said, let's dive in.
Money and we talk about power, there's no better figure to focus on than Elon Musk. He has a lot of money, and therefore he has a good amount of power. And he's using it in a way that is really fascinating to me. And he's become a polarizing figure because of it. Now, yesterday, he was being interviewed, and the one of the most epic things I've ever seen. And it's, again, I think it's polarizing, but he had been accused of saying something or agreeing with something that many people thought was anti-Semitic. Then he made a trip to Israel. People suggested that was an apology tour. And now he's seeing places like Disney boycott X and say, we're not going to advertise on X. We're stopping that for a time at least. And so he was asked about this yesterday. We're going to play this audio. We had to bleep it. But we're going to play it, and we're going to get your response, because online last night you gave something like a little mini masterclass on this. So let's play this soundbite that has been, I know, played umpteen times today, but let's play it umpteen and one.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
Silent.
But go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
A little hey to Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, if you're in the audience. It was, talk about, sorry for this fans, talk about balls. Talk about cojones. I don't care if you find that distasteful. It's what it was.
That's facts.
So why... Elon also said, if you boycott, you're going to kill my company. But go ahead and bring it on. What is he trying to achieve right now?
Well, the company is stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to having to deal with the weaponized economics of sort of political boycott campaigns versus the principle of free speech. And this has been something that has been the Achilles heel of protection of freedom of speech online for at least 6 or 7 years now. There's a long history of ad boycotts being used to change the terms of service policies of speech platforms to kill populist political sentiment or citizen opposition to government initiatives. So, some of this goes back to, as soon as Trump was elected in 2016, very quickly after that, actually immediately after that, in January 2017, this is 2 weeks before Trump was actually inaugurated. So he had won, but he had not yet been sworn into office. David Brock, who's the head of Media Matters, founder of it, he organized about 120 tech titans and investors from affiliated with the DNC to come up with a plan to force social media companies to censor, at the time, it was just pro-Trump voices online, because David Brock, he's got this long history as a political hitman in Washington. He started off as a conservative sort of, hitman operative, and then he migrated over to the Hillary Clinton side. And they did an autopsy of the 2016 election about why they lost. And they said, how did we lose this? Trump didn't get a single newspaper mainstream media endorsement. There wasn't media endorsement. There wasn't, there wasn't the media coverage was 95-5 against him. Even Fox News, which is the typical Republican home base, was highly torn. It didn't have laudatory coverage of him. How do we lose to this guy? And David Brock did this assessment because he had run a super PAC trying to artificially inflate Hillary Clinton's popularity online, only to find it got crushed by just organic sentiment, often even from anonymous accounts online. And the assessment was this was an internet election, and we lost because of free speech on the internet. And if we're ever going to win elections again, we need to control populist impulses online. And they came up.
And you know the funny part about that? If you look at, accounts like the Mitch McConnells, even Ron DeSantis, right? Especially left-leaning accounts, even Biden's, account previously. I haven't checked it in a while. But if you look at some of these accounts on Twitter, when they post something and you read the comments, as I've told you guys, I listen, when I see a post, I immediately go to the comments. That's what I really care about. Right? Of course I care about what the post says, but most of my attention goes to the comments. I want to read the comments. What are people thinking and feeling and saying? And when you go to some of these individuals' accounts, like I said, the people that I said, right, you'll find that not very many people agree with them. Like it's all, just absolutely, even somebody like Ron DeSantis. And I told you guys this. As a matter of fact, I want to say I showed you guys one of his posts before. Like Ron DeSantis, not your turn. It's Trump's turn. Hey, you should have waited. Oh, you messed up. Your political career is over. Like just all throughout the comment section. And that's what I think these people are afraid of, right? Because if Ron DeSantis gets that type of treatment, just imagine how bad it is for Joe Biden. Just imagine how bad it is for, Chuck Schumer. Just imagine how bad it is for Maxine Waters or any of these other Democrats who try to post on Twitter. It's terrible. It's terrible. They are getting drilled in the comments, right? Absolutely drilled. Even Representative, oh crap, I showed you guys the video clip the other day because we were talking about George Santos. I can't think of her name. Crap, forgive me. But she was talking about how, why she voted to oust Santos and, trying to make it seem like a great idea and, Republicans had to oust him and blah, blah, blah. When you read through the comment section of her post, she was getting absolutely drilled in the comment section. It was honestly hilarious. But yeah, that's what they're afraid of. They're getting destroyed in the comments. Nobody is buying it. They try to push out this narrative, oh, everything's sunshine and rainbows. And they want people to buy it. But when people go to those posts and they see real people are talking about, no, it's trash, your policies are terrible, well, then that looks bad on them. So, silence. It's crazy.
Up with a plan around importing this ad boycotting strategy that they had used against Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly in the analog TV era. And then they brought some hitchhikers along from the Pentagon and the State Department and the CIA and the National Endowment for Democracy. The national security state had a vested interest in getting rid of Trumpism. Now, it's again, I call it Trumpism here, but this is a bipartisan, nonpartisan thing. Bernie Sanders wanted to scale back NATO, wanted to cut back on defense spending to pay for universal health care and universal free college. That's why they hated Bernie Sanders. Again, the same thing when it comes to the populist right and left in Europe. NATO was terrified at the time that after Brexit, which was sort of fueled by this populist energy, Frexit was going to happen in France. And France was going to break out of the EU. And Italexit in Italy, and Grexit in Germany, and Grexit in Greece, and Spexit in Spain. The whole EU was going to come apart. That meant NATO was going to come apart. That meant there would be no enforcement for the tens of billions of dollars of debt the IMF is the creditor for. The whole rules-based international order would collapse if people were free to post their opinions online. So it became a national security issue to censor the internet in the eyes of these longtime apex predators of the national security state. And they teamed up with
Allegedly.
the Media Matters crew from the DNC and with the sort of Michael V. Hayden, John McCain, Dick Cheney sort of neocon right to create this uniparty blob censorship apparatus that was mostly designed to kill ad revenue, because the Chamber of Commerce, which represents basically all of our blue chip multinational companies, depends on the battering ram of the Pentagon and the State Department and the CIA and all the NGO swarm that's pumped up by our government to secure and protect their foreign investments. That's the reason that we have such global dominance. It's not just because we provide the best products. It's because we ensure foreign governments aren't able to prop up their own, that they're not nationalistic to box out our own companies. This is one of the failures that they perceive in China, that China did create that firewall. The government protects our businesses abroad, so our businesses are dependent on the government. So when government operatives, political operatives, can weaponize government support to say, hey, company, don't advertise on this platform because they're promoting disinformation, whatever the predicate of the day is, but it's just a proxy for they're allowing the free speech of political opposition parties that we oppose. They have a tremendous amount of leverage to do that, and they did that early on. I mean, really right out the gate after the Trump election. And so just to tie it all together, Musk's GFY statement there is really the first time in the 7-year crusade that these people have been on that someone has said straight to their face, no friggin' way, the buck stops here, you're gonna have to kill me.
Well, so might they be able to kill X?
They might. There's a lot of questions about what happens in the event that the company is driven into bankruptcy. I don't think that that's an immediate term thing. It's more of a medium term thing. But the fact is that
I think the big part about this is that, Twitter just has to survive until 2025. Once we get to 2025 and Trump is back in office, I think we'll be mainly in the clear. But my overall problem with this, because once again, I used to be a Democrat, or at least I thought I was at one point, right? I've made no secret about that. You guys have watched the journey right here. It's all been documented, okay? But my problem with this, just seeing it from just an even or clear perspective, however you want to word that, is this. If you are so confident in your policies and in the way that, things are going, why do you feel the need to censor people? Why? See, so from my perspective, I want these people to speak. I want Democrats to go out and speak and spill out their terrible policies, because I've watched Republicans just crush it, right? I've watched we just watched Ron DeSantis crush Gavin Newsom live on stage, live on TV, so badly that Gavin Newsom's wife had to go on stage and say, no, we're done. Allegedly, of course. Got to say allegedly. Like, I want Democrats to speak their piece. I want Democrats to be able to go out there and speak their piece. And honestly, throughout this journey, and you guys are probably, those of you that have been on this journey with me since the beginning, will probably remember, like, I wanted to hear Democrats go back at Republicans. I wanted to hear it. And time again, I either got Democrats yelling and screaming and calling Republicans a bunch of names, which is kind of ironic because Democrats accuse Republicans of name calling and being these horrible, nasty people, but we always see Democrats doing it, and then they storm off, right? Which is where, when the facts come out, they run statement came from. For those of you that weren't around when I made that statement, it was because it was a recurring thing that I was always seeing. I was sitting there waiting for Democrats to prove to me why I should continue to support you. And time again, they failed. Time and time again, they failed. It was either what I just said, they yell a bunch of names and storm off, or, oh, well, I support Biden because he's not Trump. That's not an answer to me. That's not an answer. I'm sorry, but that just doesn't cut it for me. You support Biden because he's simply not Trump? What does that even mean? Can you even explain to me why you hate Trump with evidence to back it? Not just some, Trump is ism this and phobe this and phobe that. Can you back it up with any facts or video clips to prove it? Can you back it up? And I had to ask that question to myself. Why do I not like Trump? And I couldn't answer that question. I told you guys this. I couldn't answer that question. This was like at the very beginning of this journey, right? You know, I felt like, why do I not like Trump? You know, I couldn't answer the question. I genuinely couldn't answer it. I found a problem with that. And I think more people should ask themselves, you know, as far as Democrats go, why do you not like Trump? And can you honestly answer that question with facts, with evidence to back it up? Not just, oh, yeah, he's a racist. Prove it. Prove it. I can show you a video of Biden calling black kids roaches, though. Can you show me the video where Donald Trump does something similar or the same? I can show you a video of Biden calling Obama the first mainstream clean black male or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing here. I can show you the video clip of Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. I can show you that video. Where are these videos of Trump? Can you show me? But that's the problem. They don't exist. They don't exist. And I think this establishment and the people in power know that what he just said is true. If people are allowed to speak freely on the internet, this party and our power will cease to exist. It will cease to exist. And it's already beginning to cease to exist. They are kicking, yelling, and screaming like crazy. And I've told you guys time and time again, and I'm new to politics, right? I'm new to politics. But even I can see that this thing is going in the wrong direction for them. Things are shifting to the right globally. So on a global stage, things are shifting to the right. Trump is the biggest domino to fall. And he is currently on track to fall, right? To fall in place of the presidency is what I mean, right? And they know that once that happens, it is over. It is cooked. And it's why I've said, hey, listen, expect things to get worse. Expect things to get crazy. If WW3 doesn't break out, something else wild is going to happen. The pneumonia thing that they're talking about is going to spread like wildfire, right? Something crazy is going to happen. Expect it. Because once again, I always put myself in other people's shoes so I could see it from there and try to see it from their perspective. So if I am in the establishment shoes, if I am one of them, bro, I'm fighting like hell to make sure that Trump doesn't get in office. I am doing everything that I possibly can do to make sure that he doesn't take office ever again. And if that means, then I'm going, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I'm not advocating for that. I'm not. But expect things to get wild, okay? I want to be careful with my words so nobody twists it and makes it sound like, you know, I'm trying to, oh, well, he threatened. No. I'm just saying, expect things to get wild and crazy before it gets better. It's going to get a whole lot worse than what it is now. Trust me when I tell you that, okay? But yeah, I mean, that's the problem that I have with this whole thing, you know. If their policies are so great, why do you feel the need to censor? Just let people speak. And when they do speak, when Republicans do speak and say something that's misinformation or disinformation, which I don't believe, because who gave them the power to say what's misinformation or disinformation, right? But if you do believe that, then refute it. Refute it with facts and evidence to back it up. Prove it. Like it's literally that simple. It's not like Republicans are out here and, you know, making all kinds of statements and not allowing you to speak to refute their statement. Like, you have every right to, hey, no, sir, Republican, here are the facts. Here's the video evidence. Here's the proof to prove it. Here you go. It's that simple. Like, debate it. But they can't. In my humble opinion. That's why this is happening. But y'all let me know what you thought about this in the comment section below. Once again, big shout out to Michelle Tafoya. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I am not, I apologize. This is from the Michelle Tafoya podcast. Michelle Tafoya on YouTube. If you want to go check it out for yourself, it's just Michelle Tafoya. Tafoya. Okay. That's how you spell the last name there. All right. But yeah, y'all let me know what you thought. Peace and love. I'm out.